What's up, everybody out there in social media world? My name is Terrence LeVar Glaive. Most people know me as Steel or Steel Biz. This is our first episode of our show, Thought OPPS.
And I'm your co-host, Eric Brazil, owner of Healing Hyena Clothing. And, we want to bring you guys something to talk about, some of the topics and conversations that, me and Terrence have on our own. So we want to bring that to you guys and, let you hear some of the stuff that we come up with and just, give our opinion on a lot of things that's happening in the world right now.
Yeah, a lot of the things that we're going to talk about things that affect us as a community, maybe the black community, things that affect us as the world, and things that affect people that is a part of this whole makeup called Earth. So we're going to have different topics that we have and discuss, and we want y'all to be a part of the show as well. We want y'all to send us topics, and we want y'all to be involved also.
Exactly. And, we just now starting off and everything. So, hopefully in the future, everything will run a little bit better, run smoothly or whatever. But, it's a little test run.
Yeah, it's running smooth enough.
He said it's running
let's not shoot ourselves in the foot. But, but yeah, we're going to try to make sure that everything run as smooth as it's running, but even smoother. That's what we got to make sure we're going to make happen. But Eric's going to explain to you how this actually works as far as the thought ops, and the thought opportunities, and just putting our thoughts out there. So go ahead and tell my show actually works.
So how our show actually works is, I come up with a topic, Terrence might come up with a few topics, and we've been putting posts out there for a lot of you guys to come out and come up with topics of things that we should talk about.
Which people have been replying to the posts.
And yeah, we really, truly appreciate it. So, right now this is our first show, so we have like 3 topics. And, maybe in the future and other shows we could come up with more than, 3 topics. But what happens is we'll pick a few topics, we'll put those topics out there. And once we get those topics, what I will do is I will show you guys the topics that we picked. I will write them down on a piece of paper, and then we will put those topics in Terrence's fine china.
Better yet, why don't you just write a number on the topics and just put the number in the bowl, and then we can just pull.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
so we don't make it so complicated.
Yeah, whatever works for you. So, like he said, I'll put a number on the topics, and whatever number that Terrence pulls out of his fine china will be the topic that we talk about on that show. So right now we have 3 topics, and out of those 3 topics, we will pick the number out of the bowl, and that's the topic that we will talk about.
And while we're giving you the topics that we're discussing, I want you to put under the put comments under the posts just to let us know like different topics that you want to think about, different topics you want to hear about, different topics you want to talk about. If you ever want to be a part of the show, let us know about that as well. If you actually want to just if you have any suggestions, if you just want to just give us ideas, let us know. So Eric is going to show you the topics that we have, and we're also going to tell you the topics. When he tells you the topic, I'm going to give like a brief idea of what the topics are, so you can understand even more what the topic is and what the topic is discussing. But we're just going to choose one topic, and we're going to discuss that topic.
Okay, so the first topic we have, so you guys can see,
it is hip hop and possible adverse effects on the black community. Now that talks about the chicken and the egg, what came first. Are rappers talking about their life as they know it, or are they creating a negative mind frame for the inner city or for young black people in America?
So right now I'm writing that number down on this piece of paper, tearing it off, balling up.
Yeah, you're very descriptive, I see. Okay, all right. Second title.
Yes, that's good for you.
Yeah, that was hella descriptive.
So the second
but like, well, go ahead.
This dude always trying to play me, man. So the second topic is being raised by love versus survival.
Okay, that's pretty much talking about, you know, those parents that try to love is your parents telling you you could be whatever, you could do this, you could do that, you're going to be the greatest. They probably don't even touch their kids, they probably don't whoop their kids. But then there's parents that raise you survival. Yo, you gotta work hard, you gotta, or not even like you gotta work hard, they're like teaching you that, you know, being beat or being, I don't want to call it being whooped is like a part of life, and you have to learn how to survive these things. They actually may deny you things in life too to make you feel like, you know, you have to work hard for whatever it is you want. I mean, Eric probably got other ideas about survival as well as love too.
Yeah, not whooping, but correcting.
I said whooped.
Beat. You said beat.
Well, I mean, how's that? But okay.
we starting the debate
because
already.
I'm saying like it's beat, like beat. I mean, that's the word. That's what I mean. Beat is to actually, if you Google the word, I mean, that's beating. Whooping is still a beating. I mean, I think that the idea of calling it whooping is just something that's just continually taught to us. Okay. But it's still being beat. But go ahead.
Okay, so that's number 2. Did that look more fluid? That didn't look robotic, like you said.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the third and final topic we have is suburban living with hood mentality. So
this was Eric's topic. Go ahead.
So with this topic, it's basically talking about how a lot of us, our people, grew up in the inner city.
What's our people?
Well, I would like to say the black community. Grow up in urban areas or neighborhoods, and we strive to lead those neighborhoods and get our money together, get our money right, and get our money corrected to move to nicer areas and the suburbs. But yet and still, we want to bring that hood mentality into the suburbs. So
it's basically talking about the psychology of people living in America, that it's ideas that's taught to us on what it means to be black. So, like those things that are used as description as culture, because culture doesn't have any negative connotation in the definition, but we still say, oh, that's culturally what we do, and we bring those things, like I don't know if you're talking about the barbecues or like, I don't know. I mean, there's different things that we feel that we're forced to do, that CNN tell us we should make a part of our life. Yeah. But go ahead, put that topic.
So that's number 3, and I'm dropping that in the bowl.
Okay. So I'm gonna pick the topic.
Yeah, you gotta turn. Right. You gotta turn your head. You can't look.
All right, I'm closing my eyes.
Okay. All right, Chief. See what we come up with.
Let me see, because I know which one I want to talk about, and I think it's the one. That's the one he don't.
That's the one he's not gonna get.
Let me see. Please don't let it be one I don't want to talk about. It is 3.
So we have come up with.
I guess I gotta talk about 3.
Suburban living with hood mentality.
Okay, go ahead.
So you want me to start off?
Yeah, since this is a topic that you seem like you are more in tune with, a topic that you have more ideas on. Go ahead.
So the reason why this is I came up with this topic is because I have had the opportunity to I grew up on the west side of Akron, and in pretty much bad neighborhoods. So as I got older and everything, I moved up to Cleveland when I was 21. I lived a few places in Cleveland. I lived off of 185th. I lived in Euclid. I lived off of East 222nd Street.
Hood, kind of hood, and hood again. Well, go ahead.
So I finally got the opportunity to move to a suburb on the the suburb. I'm not gonna say where, but I got the opportunity to move to the suburb. So I guess a lot of people say it's the American dream or whatever. And so I noticed, even though I moved to the suburbs, it's still a lot of people, especially our people, black people. A lot of them move to the suburbs as well, and it's like they bring the hood mentality with them. Meaning that, I go to the rec center and, I see the kids, walking around with the pants hanging halfway off their behinds, knowing that, a lot of them haven't been nowhere in the inner city, or the hood and everything like that. Actually,
that's like a taught psychology, but go ahead.
Okay. Go to the gym. There's a lot of guys that, with the mean mugs, the stares, hey, I'm tougher than you, and, I'm too good to, speak, or if I bump into you, I'm too good to, say I'm sorry or apologize and everything. And like, I was raised, to be real big on respect and respecting other people and respecting other people's space and everything. And it's just a lot of times, it's just the mentality that we have that, we, instead of us just being happy that, we're in a nice neighborhood or whatever, and we try to move away from where we are staying or whatever, it's like we bring that with us. So I'm trying to figure out, like, is it a cultural thing? It's not. Is it the music that we listen to? Is it the TV that we're watching?
Okay, first of all, you're using the word cultural incorrectly. Okay. So culture, if you Google the word culture, it has no negative connotation in the word. It has no. If you Google culture, there's nothing. If you look up culture as a definition, there's nothing. It's an advancement of people. Okay. So what I hate when black people say, or anybody say, that's culture. Culture is not bad behavior. Being late is not culture. That's not culture. That's bad behavior.
So go ahead.
Yeah, but I'm saying you're saying culture, and I feel like that's not. Culture is music. Culture is art. Culture is those things. Culture is science. Mm-hmm. Culture is. I feel like the word culture is overused to explain things, and I feel like when you were saying that there are certain things that you were saying, my people, and I feel like I don't want to sound like a sellout, but that's used a lot of times. Like if somebody's portraying bad behavior, and they don't have my last name, or they not like, why do I want to call this person my people?
Yeah, but I can only speak on what I can only speak on what I grew up around. Like
exactly, but
I haven't, right. I went to, actually when I went to school, I went to a high school that was like 99.9% predominantly black.
What high school did I go to? The same damn thing.
But what I'm saying is I can only speak on what I lived. I can't speak on what other. I can't speak on what.
But other, I feel like we are forced to take ownership of bad behavior just because we're black, and no other race have to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like no other race, like we have to, like it makes you uncomfortable. That's just like a conversation I had in the barbershop one day where they asked me, and this is probably gonna piss people off, but they asked me like, do I get nervous when I see the police? And I was like, nah, not really. Now I do understand that there is, I am very much aware of systematic racism. I'm very much aware of slavery. I'm very much aware of oppression. I'm very much aware of these things, these bad things that have happened to us. That creates the psychology in America and how people actually think. And I do know that, there are chances that, thin chances, but there are chances that the police might pull me over, and it might be pull me over because I'm black or something like that. And I have to like carry myself a certain way. But I don't live my life by fear.
Yeah, it's not about living your life by fear, but it's also about being aware. And it's just where does this mentality? What I'm saying is, where does this mentality come from, and why do we carry this baggage? If our main goal is to move out of a certain area to a better area, why do we bring the same mentality with us when we move to that area? Why are we bringing that baggage with us?
Because, okay, you're saying we, like, everybody's doing that, but
I'm not saying everybody.
there are people that do that, and a lot of times, just some people that do that, that's their aunt and their uncle house too. So it's not even their damn house. But I'm just saying that I think that that's another part. Like, you, even in this topic, that's another part of a forced feeling. A forced psychological feeling where I, as a black person, should feel like, why are black people doing this? And there are black people that do certain things, but I should own it so much to the point where I'm so annoyed by it, where it's like I ignore the things that I do to make myself better, to not be a part of that, where it's like I have to, like, speak more so just for myself, but for a race. And I know some people might be listening, like, you sound like a sellout. You sound like a sellout. But I don't feel like that's selling out. I feel like that's, like, sometimes it annoys me sometimes, where I feel like a lot of times we gotta take super ownership of, because that's how it sounded to me.
Okay, it annoys you, but why? But what I'm saying is this mentality, even in the suburbs, like, I could expect this living in the hood or going in the hood or whatever, and I can expect, I seen you roll your eyes.
No, I ain't roll my eyes.
I can expect that.
I'm drinking coffee.
But if I'm out, if I'm out in the suburbs in Solon, Ohio, why do I have to put up with this mentality from people that look like me? And we supposed to have,
that is such a long conversation. But let me give you my knowledge and my word I'm looking for. This is my knowledge and this is my study of this. Okay. It all started with it probably started back with the distribution of money. Shit.
So you got to give us an education.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you a little education lesson. So it's all started. It's systematic. There's systematic racism in this country.
Okay,
You know what I'm saying? Systematic racism, which comes from slavery, which comes from oppression, which comes from Jim Crow, which comes from all these things that we are taught. We're taught these things, and we are like these people. Like you watch, like when I watch CNN sometimes. And they tell you, like, every time you're black, you can't succeed. Because to me, it's somebody that's not like me telling me how to feel about life. When I'm watching somebody white that's telling me how to feel about life. And sometimes a lot of people don't know how to handle that, where they don't even look for success because they feel like it's all these negative things that's hanging over their head. And then when you watch Fox, it's like Fox tell you that these negative things don't even exist, which is too unrealistic ideas fighting against each other to me. Now I do think that there is, like I said, there's systematic racism, but it's certain things are just pushed, and then certain people don't know how to handle these ideas, and it makes them lazy. But it all comes from, a lot of that too comes from the wealth gap too. The wealth gap actually creates, because when people don't have money, and people aren't, because it's already created for us, the wealth gap and all that. When people don't have money, bad behavior starts coming into play too.
But my thing is, like,
they get money, but they still have that behavior though.
So how do we change that behavior? How do we change that mentality?
It's a lot of stuff that it stems from too. It's like it started with drugs too, man. It started with like crack cocaine. It started like a long time ago. This is a huge topic. This is a huge topic that probably go with some of the other topics that we're talking about.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to understand is, like, why do we work so hard, busting our behinds, to leave an area to go to a better area, but we still bring everything from that area that we moved from to that better area? Like, why can't we understand that, okay, we did all this hard work to move to this good area, but we have to change our mentality. But we have to change how we think and how we see things.
You're being very general too in that statement, because, dude, like when I went over in Cleveland Heights the other day, I ain't gonna say the name of the people. Well, I'm gonna say one person named Marie. And I went over to Cleveland Heights and I went to a book club, and there was a bunch of other people. Man, it was some black people in that book club. men and women. One of my brothers was in there. It was some black people that have none of this behavior that you're talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I feel like sometimes that is a part of the psychology that's forced on us because some people are doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And there are black people that are doing things and living their life like civilians.
Okay, so where the
and being civil.
Okay, so I'm gonna use the children for an example. So you have parents and these kids has been living in the suburbs for just say you got these kids has been living in the suburbs all their life. So where does this?
Well, y'all know I do comedy. I was about to say, it sounds like they moved Section 8 out of where they is.
So if you have a child that's been living in the suburbs all this life, where does this hood mentality or them?
Because it comes from a false idea given to us like through our music and through our entertainment.
Because these are the same type of kids that you could take from the suburbs and you could take them and take them down the way, and they'll be scared. They wouldn't know what to do. They wouldn't know what to survive.
My nieces and nephews, they grew up in the suburbs. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes I would talk to like my nieces, not really my nieces. I'll talk to my nephews. I love my nephews. I'll talk to them and I'll have a conversation and they start talking about being black in America. It's like, dude, you from, I ain't gonna say what suburb, but it's suburb. And it's kind of like, but there's an idea that's given to them to make them feel more a part of something that is a false reality of who they actually are.
But what I guess what I'm trying to understand is because like I said, I grew up in those type of neighborhoods. I grew up around shootings. I grew up around having friends and family members killed.
So did I.
And
well, I didn't have friends and family killed. But you know how I grew up. I came from a different country.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand.
But I moved to the hood.
Yeah,
hood.
And my goal was
I had guns put on me.
Yeah, same here. I've been beat by the police. I've been beaten by the police and everything. And my goal was for when I had my son, I didn't want my son to live in that same environment that I lived in. So my goal was to do everything that I could to move out of that environment and move my son into a better environment. Now, true indeed, I'm not trying to talk down on people that still live in those environments because there's a lot of good people that stay in the environment. Yeah, there's a lot of people that that came up, but that worked hard.
You're right, but the thing about those environments, and not talking about the people, but when I talked about the wealth gap earlier, and I'm talking about like when you don't have money and there's a certain degree of depression that comes with not having money, it does cause idle hands. You know what I'm saying? It does cause people to do certain things that's outside of because and a lot of it is survival too. Like people selling dope and stuff like that. It's like they're trying to survive. Living in because it's such a huge, like the topic that we're talking about is such a huge thing because there's capitalism that has something to do with it. There is race. Capitalism, there is control, there is a lot of different things that actually creates that. And I know that it's going to sound kind of, I don't know, it's going to sound, I don't think vague, but it's going to sound, it all comes from the idea that someone is better based on what color they are.
Okay. And
that creates something within those people where they feel struggled too. And when you feel struggled, it gives you a certain degree of rebellion towards the system that we live in too. And those people, because sometimes some people mad and I don't even know why they mad, like because of
I think a lot of times, especially when it comes to how should I phrase this? Like people that look like me, especially when it comes to a lot of men. I think a lot of times there's this false sense of I don't want to say false sense of security, but I think a lot of times you get a lot of guys that come out to the suburbs and they could put on this facade, they could put on this tough guy role, like, cause I'm in the suburbs and everything, and just because I'm in the suburbs, he's not gonna do some. They would act a certain way in the suburbs that they wouldn't act how they would act down the way, because they know down the way it'll be a whole different. So different reaction. So I think a lot of times the mentality, this hood mentality and everything, a lot of times, sometimes it comes from, they have this false sense of like, people living in the suburbs that they soft. you know, as well. You have a lot of like, oh, I'm out here in the suburb, I'm out here in Solon, and you know, I can act this way and I can act like a tough guy or whatever because I'm out in the suburbs, and you know, this person might not react the same way to me that someone like in the hood would act. You know what I'm saying? So I think a lot of time that mentality, that's, you know, part of the mentality, because a lot of times people feel like they're in the suburbs, it's safe, you know, they feel like people are a little bit soft and everything. But I mean, I feel like, you know, if I'm trying to get myself out of a certain position and, you know, I want to move up, you know, I'm gonna act, you know, accordingly. I'm gonna show people respect. I'm gonna, you know, stray away from that type of stuff because I grew up around that type of stuff and it wasn't enjoyable. It wasn't fun. You know, it wasn't fun listening to guns go off at night. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't fun, you know, losing friends and losing family members to gun violence. And then, you know, you have people in the suburbs or whatever that move to the suburbs and it's just like, oh, now, you know, I want to act hood.
I mean, it's kind of, I don't know. I guess what you're saying makes sense, but I don't think it sounds very general, and it sounds like, because, I mean, I live in the suburbs. I mean, there's not suburb, but it's like, it's considered a suburban area, you know. I grew up in the city, but there are certain things, and then sometimes if you really think about it too, certain things that happen in the suburbs where there's like where we are the minority in certain suburbs, there are certain things that don't even make the news that happen in the white community or the other communities where it's like forced for the things that happen with us to be shown or to forced to be seen. And sometimes the first thing we do is we run to social media. Not saying we, because I feel like everybody's an individual first.
You said the we.
But I feel like everybody. I said the we because I'm being general and talking about our color. But I'm saying, but everybody's an individual first, and then sometimes the first thing that certain people of our ethnicity may do is run to social media and post it up and be like, yeah, you know, they was shooting, and then people, and a lot of times it makes the news because, I mean, a part of it, I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but a part of it is a part of the idea of what they want to put out.
Yeah, but I mean, not to get too far away from the topic. A lot of that has to do with, you know, the times we live in, because like I'm still old school. There's a lot of stuff that happens with me that I just don't. That wasn't the first thing we did, was run to the social media.
We didn't have it.
Yeah, we didn't have it. So now it's like we have it, and I mean, I still had that mentality that, you know, not to put everything on social media.
And they like screenshot and screen record and like our screenshot back in the day was, I'm about to call them. Don't say nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm about to call them on the three-way. Don't say nothing. And this was from a house phone. And you'd be like, damn, I hope my mama don't pick up the phone.
Yeah. So I mean,
put your phone on mute. Yeah. So it's a different idea of the world now. And I feel like I don't know, this topic, I just feel like the topic was very general. Like, I feel like it was very general, and sometimes I feel like some of these topics make us it disregards our individuality to a certain degree, because I feel like there is a subculture of people, of black people, there's a subculture of white people, there's a subculture of Asian people, there's different subcultures and when you say us so rigid, it made me feel like everybody have to answer for everybody, and I get it. I get it, because we are people that are people that are considered, what's the word I'm looking for? We are considered very marginalized.
But I can only speak on what I know. That's just like me trying to speak on, okay, like I grew up in Akron. That's like me trying to speak for people that live in Los Angeles. I don't know what goes on in Los Angeles.
But
I can only speak from what I went through.
But you can't say that, because we have more of an idea of the world than we ever did in the past, dude. Like, there's books, there's the internet, there's social media. Like, dude,
that is true, but there are certain...
I feel like can I say something? And I'm not trying to offend you. I feel like
go ahead, man. You can't offend me.
I just feel like you're actually hurting yourself by thinking like that. I think that you need to broaden your mind and understand more something outside of yourself because and I feel like a lot of times we do that and that keeps us ignorant and that keeps us not knowing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I'm just speaking on the
because you keep saying I just know. You sound old when you say that too. I just know for me, like
I am old.
No, you're younger than me, so that makes me feel bad. But you know what I'm saying?
I'm old, man.
Yeah, but it's like you like for me, when I was on the plantation,
that's how my voice sounds.
That's what you're going with this whole thing. Because this time,
no, man, I'm just saying I understand what you saying.
All my life, yeah, like dude. Like, I don't know nothing about that. All I know is about these hard times. You gonna eat your cornbread? Like, go ahead.
I mean, I understand what you're saying about, broad thinking and all that. But what I'm saying is...
Because it's just so...
But there's only certain things... I can't speak on certain things that happen in certain areas because I've never lived that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't tell you... You know what I'm saying? I can only speak on what...
That's the thing, too. That's the thing, too. Like... One thing I realized, like, I'm gonna tell the truth, dude. Like, one thing I realized, because I remember growing up in the city, and people would be like, man, I ain't leaving out the hood to go do nothing because the police gonna pull me over. Okay. You know what I'm saying? I remember, like, I found myself in Chagrin Falls. Like, that was like in Chagrin Falls because it's like, guess what? I'm an American. And I could go anywhere here where I want to go. And I feel like you're doing yourself a disservice when you think like that. If your license clean, you got registration, you got insurance, go where the hell you want to go.
I understand, but you don't know what them people been through. Like, my license clean. I get background checks at my job all the time or whatever. I've never been arrested. I don't have no type of jail record or anything, and I've still been beat by the police.
Yeah, I mean, I've been locked up.
I've still been harassed by the police. I
have no felonies, okay, and I've never been to prison. But I have been because I used to be, like I used to drink a lot.
So, but have you ever been beat by the police though?
You keep talking about this beat by the police story.
We'll talk about that maybe another time. But what I'm saying, like, I've never been locked up. I've never been in jail. Never been in prison. And still, I have no record, and I've been beat by the police.
And I have a DUI.
So what I'm saying is, you can't. When people say that, I understand because you haven't experienced that. So I can understand maybe their way of thinking because they've experienced that. So I mean, you.
But did you see the disservice that has done to you?
Yeah, I see. Yeah, I see the disservice.
And I feel like you need to talk because a good thing is we are offered therapy. And I feel like you need to talk to somebody about that because that actually have affected you because because you've said it more than once. I feel like it's affected you to the point where you have to continually talk about, well, I got beat by the police. I got beat by the police. A lot of things have happened to us, you know what I'm saying, in life. And when we continually say, because I think that's horrible that the police would beat you. I feel like that's terrible. But I feel like the one thing is things that we cannot change, we have to find a way to live through it, through either owning that it happened and moving forward. And a way to do that is to actually talk, because I know we ain't gonna talk about it now, but the way to do it is to actually talk about it, because that's messed up that would actually happen to you. But you should not let just that, and I'm not, because I don't know, I'm not a doctor, so I shouldn't be telling you that. Yeah. But in my opinion,
you just giving your opinion.
In my opinion, I think that you should not base everything based on just that. You know what I'm saying? Even like how you think, how you look at the hood, you know what I'm saying, and how you look at certain ideas. It's a part of your story, but it's not your whole story.
I got you. Yeah. So I mean, I got everything I needed to get off my chest or whatever. So you feel better now.
Yeah. Okay. What are you talking about? I mean, we had that was a good topic. I mean, we gonna do some other topics. I feel like God working. See, none of my topics got. You know what I'm saying?
Just to make Terrence happy, we will the two topics that we will revisit those topics.
Yeah, he's gonna throw them away.
No, we will revisit them and add a new topic. And knowing his luck, the new topic will probably get picked or whatever. Well, we will revisit those.
This is my location, so we gonna do what I said. No, but that was really good. Look, now go ahead and follow us. What's your Instagram?
My Instagram is EJBRIZZ, EJ Briz.
Okay, we're gonna post this on Instagram. We're gonna post this on YouTube. We're gonna post this on TikTok. My Instagram is SteelBiz, SteelBizz. So is my TikTok. So is my everything. So everything. And then if my Facebook is Terrence Author, and that's not Arthur like Arthur. It's author like I've written books. Terrence LeVar Glave. So follow me. So follow me there. But we're gonna continue to do these shows. And if you're interested in like being a part of this whole setup too, and not forever, just a guest. Yeah. Don't come in and try to run us off the show and try to be like the big thing on. You know what I'm saying? But we are looking for people. We're looking for people that are younger, people that are older, like our age, like not old as hell. But and we're looking for males, females. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody's opinion counts because we all live on this earth together. So like tune in to our shows. We're gonna keep these going. We sound so much better because when we first started, he was sounding like a robot. But now we done got ourselves together. We had a good discussion. He mad now.
I ain't even saying that. This will probably be our first and last show.
See, there we go. There we go. Yeah. I thought you grew up in the hood. That was soft. But yeah. So tune in to our next show. But you feel good. Yeah, I feel good. So I'm about to cut this thing off and kick you out my house. But all right, have a good day. Thank you for tuning in to Thought OPPS.
See you next time.